Hey everybody, in this episode of Box Office Breakdown, yesterday was so far away from number one. We're going to break it all down next.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Hey everybody, welcome to Box Office Breakdown. Oh, just a little preamble right there. You got to see the really powerful behind-the-scenes information right here.
Yeah.
Of course, folks, welcome back. I'm back. Let's break this all down. Right. This is the show that looks back at the box office that was, and then we...
Kate.
The box office that lie ahead.
See, that's what we
Frank
missed
Moran.
last time. Mm-hmm. We're just talking over you right now because
That's
we weren't
right.
here last week and you dished. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, do your intro again.
Oh, I said I'm Frank Moran.
Nice.
Thanks.
I wanted to make sure you said it without us saying something.
That's all right. Nobody really cares. They don't come to
We
see me.
do. We missed
They came
you.
here for Amy and Kara.
They
We all
missed
know
you
that.
last week.
Carrie.
They did.
No,
Amy.
they didn't. No, I saw the chat. They're like,
Amy.
thank goodness, finally.
No.
Actually,
That is
yeah.
not true.
Everyone was like, finally.
No.
Frank is gone for
Yes.
a day.
What's up? Kari Lane here.
I'm Amy. Just Amy.
Just Amy. Yes. And
She
we
is
have the
work-
live chat going too. So what's up? Live chat.
And of course, making us look good, sound even better is Bree in the booth.
Hey everybody, what's up?
Now, everybody, quick thing in the chat, as Carrie mentioned, it's going up. It's up and running here. Fast vote that we can get throughout the show is Amy's playing around with different ways of pronouncing her name to sound really cool.
Oh my gosh.
So
no, I'm
she's
not.
preferring to have it pronounced
No,
Ami.
disregard everything that Frank is saying right
He's
now.
just joking.
Frank.
Ami Cassandra.
No, it's
So,
not. It's
if you
always
like that,
Amy Cassandra.
Oh boy.
It's like some people say Cassandra, but I'm like, if you take out the K, you would say Sandra. You wouldn't say. Well, you could say Sandra,
Good times.
but
You gotta drop it like that, Sandra.
Cassandra.
All right, folks.
Anyways, we're gonna
as
talk
always,
about movies on this show. We promise. Don't
That's
worry.
true. So like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, however many you got right there. And as Carrie mentioned, the chat's up and running. But Carrie, if they're watching after we stream live, what can they do?
Yes, Frank. You can comment down below.
Hot dog. We're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of stuff to cover. At the end of the episode, we're going to be talking about some movies we saw at the box office this weekend, including Anna, there yesterday. Annabelle Comes Home. We're going to be giving some
And a
really...
special screener that I saw. That's not in theaters.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll talk about that too.
I guess. Because there's this giant little convention that's the biggest in North America, but that's okay.
Giant
Yeah,
little.
if you're into
Yeah.
that. But we'll be talking about
That
all
too.
that at the end of the show, so there'll be lots of spoilers, but we'll give you plenty of warning if you want to duck out and not have anything spoiled for you. But in the meantime, we're going to dive into this weekend's top 5.
Woo!
And we start off with Toy Story 4, still having a friend at the box office. Made another $57.9 million.
Did you just say still having a friend at the box office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, okay,
All
thanks. Thank you.
You've got a friend in me. I see that.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go.
There
yes.
we go.
Yes.
Doing pretty well. 52%. Not too bad.
Yeah, no.
And I missed all your hot takes last week because I know you both saw it.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right, Amy.
Okay.
Way to go, Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy did.
Yeah.
You
There
liked
you
it,
go.
though.
Yeah.
Did you cry at the end?
Yeah.
There you go.
Done.
Yep.
What do you think of it, Frank?
I cried at the end.
Okay.
There you go.
How,
I was ugly crying.
What, I was going to ask, what kind of tears? Because, whoa.
I was sobbing.
Really?
Woody, why?
No,
Why?
really, though?
No, I wasn't. No,
No, because I was
like
going to be
that.
like, me too. No, mine were, those where you're trying to be serious and you're like, it's fine. I'm okay. And then they just start rolling hard, like waterfalls, and it never stops.
I'm an adult. I'm in control of my emotions.
You're not.
No, they're not.
Pixar
No,
would tell you no.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a lot of people were on the fence about whether they needed a 4th film in the series. I enjoyed it. Thought it was I thought they didn't screw the pooch, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Screw the pooch. Just an expression.
Wait, for real?
Never heard that before.
Okay.
That sounds inappropriate.
Well, Ami, you need to get out more.
Oh my God. You too, Frank. You too.
Coming in number 2 is one of our 2 new entries this week. Annabelle Comes Home.
Annabelle.
Annabelle. Now I'm getting my Annas and my Annas mixed up. From
Anna.
Warner Brothers, $28.3 million. And Amy Cassandra Martinez, you ended up seeing it.
I did. Yeah. I also went to the carpet, to the red carpet, and I talked to all the girls that, were in it. And
You tried to talk to Annabelle, but she didn't want to talk to you.
she was busy.
Yeah.
She was booked.
talking to Ty.
Nice. We'll get more
Yeah.
into like detailed stuff
Yeah.
at the end. But
Yeah.
what did you think overall?
It was fun, and good job, McKenna Grace.
Is it scary at all?
Sure, there's a few parts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you feel if somebody wanted to jump in of knowing the other lore? Do you need it?
I'll just jump in now. It's
Cool.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga just have a little bit of a cameo in the film. Not much in there. But is seeing them in there make you go, like, I'd rather watch a Conjuring film? Or you're like, no, this is cool. I'm glad we got this story. Okay.
Yeah. I miss Vera Farmiga. Yeah. Yeah, but with that being said, it was good. And the fact that you can just jump into it without having seen all the other Conjureverse films, then, that works. Sure.
And we're still over a year away from the next Conjuring film, so hope this was enough to, at least that little bit you got to see them in the film was enough to whet your appetite.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like the other Conjuring movies, so.
Yeah. There was this one part. I'm not going to tell you what part it is because I can't remember at this moment. But
I like that it's not because of spoilers, but because I can't remember.
Can't remember it. But it's always fun when people go and watch a horror movie and they're there because they want to get scared, or it's like and so everyone's playing it cool, and so all the normal jump scares, they're like, oh, okay, sure, we got this. And then something will happen and you don't really expect it, or it's a certain sound or something, and then everyone kind of screams, and then they just kind of laugh like, guys, it's fine, calm down, that happened. I haven't had that in a theater. Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
watch it because of that.
We're excited to hear more of your in-depth thoughts towards
Yes.
the end of the show. Coming in at number 3 was Yesterday, the other new film debuting this week from Universal, $17 million straight up. Mm-hmm. Bree, you saw the film. What did you think overall?
I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, it's nothing I think that you have to necessarily, like, jump out to go see, like, right away, but it is a lot of fun.
Nice. Amy?
I would say you should jump out and see it because of the music. It's always fun to watch a movie where music is such an important element of the movie. To be able to hear it in surround sound all around you. You guys remember this? Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like you should. It's not amazing. I think that there could have been a lot of improvements made, but it's certainly a really good movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
It looks cool, but yeah, I do feel it's one that I would probably watch, like, later.
Yeah, it's one for me, and we'll talk more about it at the end of the show, where the premise in and of itself I found very intriguing.
Right.
But it made me want to know more things, and I feel like the film kind of let me down in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
What about Across the Universe? Do you like that one?
I didn't see that film, so I cannot compare those. I don't know if it's apples to oranges.
Seen Across the Universe?
No, I have not seen it.
Okay.
I don't believe in space travel, so I can't see
No,
that.
it doesn't have anything to do with it.
Okay. I don't
Amy, have you
believe
seen
in.
Across the Universe?
I've seen, parts of it. I realize I have never seen the full movie.
I mean-
I've seen the full movie, Kara. I'm there with you.
Right? It's so good.
It's really good.
So good. And it's nice because when they do a cover of a song, either you have to be exactly the same or you have to be very different. Otherwise you just sit there in that kind of uncanny valley like, not right. They do a lot of changes that some of them I would almost like the covers better than the original just because it's a different tempo. I know, right? It sounds like, what? No, but there's some.
I mean, I've heard one. Like, I Want to Hold Your Hand, that one.
Strawberry Fields and Mr. Kite were really cool how they do it in the movie. But also maybe it's with the visual too, but
Yeah.
I also liked Revolution.
yeah.
Movie really well.
It's so good.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I'm excited to when we get tear more into this film.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I
Okay.
thought.
All right. Rounding out our top 5, we have number 4 next, coming up with Aladdin, another from Disney, another $9.3 million. And then The Secret Life of Pets 2 from Universal, another $7 million.
Still there.
There you go. Folks, Avengers Endgame, though, they also re-released it back in theaters this weekend, too, with some additional footage, a tribute to Stan Lee, an introduction by one of the directors, and a deleted scene with Professor Hulk as well. Okay. Was it enough to intrigue either of you to go?
I was almost going to go to support my guys, of course.
Of course.
And girls.
I don't even know why I was even thinking this is mandatory. You, of anybody, is adamant that this film surpass Avatar, and yet you don't go this weekend to show your support?
Guys, I've had to deal with this decision that I've made this whole weekend, and I understand. And it's awful, and I feel horrible. But I had already gotten tickets to see Yesterday, and I was feeling like watching Yesterday.
Sure.
Well, why didn't you just buy tickets for Avengers Endgame and then go see Yesterday?
Or like both? I couldn't do both
No,
yesterday.
just go buy
No,
the
just
tickets.
buy it and not go.
Yeah, so the money goes towards Avengers
But
Endgame.
Zach Wilson, who is a host on our Marvel movie news show, did go see it.
Yes.
He tweeted, "Went and saw Endgame one more time. The extra 6 minutes is fun, but honestly, unless you're like me and just refreshing before you go into Far From Home, you're probably fine holding out a month to get the Blu-ray. That said, I might have teared up during the Stan Lee tribute."
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brie.
Like, we should support it. Or, like, I might just buy it.
Well, of course, but by that point, it defeats the purpose because they're trying to get the
No.
Did
I'm
you see
obviously
the
gonna buy the
meme
movie.
that they have Captain America running and they put Avatar's head on the other person and it's like on your left?
Look at that. So it was like
I was like, ha, ha.
$37 million as of this weekend here at the beginning. And
Yeah.
so it only made a little over $5 million. So I don't think it's going to... And it's only going to be in theaters for a few more weeks.
Can it get re-released one more time in December or something? Or is there like a law that says they can't?
No, there's certainly not a law. Like internationally, because I was reading...
released like 3 or 4 times, didn't it?
It may have. I'd have to check on that.
See?
But
so
internationally, it's the bulk of Avatar's sales came from international markets. It was only 33% was domestic. Same thing for Avengers Endgame. It was 55% was domestic, and the rest came internationally. And it's can't go back into China, which could be another market that could really help boost it up over Avatar because it only has a 30-day window in China, and they did not get an extension. So that was not. They're not going to be able to go back to that market to try to get any more money.
okay, not China,
Correct.
but everywhere else.
Yeah, I think I don't know in terms of other re-releases.
Come on, Frank.
they
Come
certainly
on.
could.
We need to know.
I gotta know.
I'm asking these questions so we can make this happen.
Well, when it comes down to certainly the international releases, people seem to focus on China and then more the U.S. domestic release. So
That's not fair, though.
I mean, the other
There's a
markets
lot
are
of
important
other-
as well too.
Exactly.
But China makes up so much of this the box office revenue for so many films. So without having that, I don't know if it's going to be able to. If they could have re-released into China, I think it could have. I think that 6 extra minutes would have been enough to get fans excited to go back and see it. But I don't know without that ability to go into China if it's going to do it.
I still have hope.
All right, never give up hope.
It's
Never.
all right.
Never surrender.
Hold on to that.
So, folks, you two did a box office bet while Stav was gone, correct?
Yeah,
We
but
did.
like we don't have to worry about it.
No, we should worry about
No.
it. We absolutely should. And for those of us that weren't here, me, being the main one, I don't know which film you did and who bet what.
Bree, do you remember?
We did
was
Annabelle.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, I have a feeling the way that Amy looks, she knows exactly who won and lost this. So without
Bree,
even,
did you write our numbers? I felt
I
like-
didn't write them down. I thought you did, Carrie. I think I said 28.
You know,
million.
whoops.
you know what? But I look
I
at
watched
we're
it.
gonna go with Amy Cassandra Martinez. She lost that bet, but she went and saw it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did lose. I don't remember your numbers, but I know that I lost. Yeah. Okay.
Aw.
yes. Well, folks, we will be doing
Glad I
another
didn't
box
lose.
office bet,
Yay.
where we write down the numbers so we can
Yeah.
keep our accurate accounting. 'cause
You
this
weren't here,
goes-
so it wasn't official record taking.
That's true. It doesn't go into the
Yeah.
official totals.
Yeah.
It was always like an exhibition game. It doesn't really
Yeah,
count towards
doesn't really
the
count.
the,
No.
the season totals,
Yeah.
which is a little
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll still count with amongst ourselves.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think so.
No.
But we only have one film, so we'll be doing a vote for you in the chat.
Star Drew said I won. Thank you, Star Drew.
Oh, look at
All
that.
right, Star Drew. All right. Thanks.
There's only one film and one film only that we should even be caring about, and it happens to be the case that it's the only film coming out in theaters, and that is Spider-Man: Far From Home. Very excited about this film. So we'll be doing our box office bet about that film.
Amy looks
towards
very
the end of the
excited for
show.
those who are
I'm
just listening.
So excited. I need to calm my heart down.
Aw.
Now, it's already had an international release, so speaking of that here, it came swinging into China, Japan, and Hong Kong this weekend to nab an early $111 million at the international box office. So basically, this opening weekend in China launches it about 45% over Spider-Man Homecoming and 21% above Captain Marvel. Yeah, so doing all right. Basically, the opening results are slightly higher than what the industry was predicting. So that's good news
Go
for our wall
Spider-Man.
crawler. So China was robust at $98 million for the number 4 all-time superhero film behind Disney Marvel's Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, and then of course Venom.
Wow.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was.
I liked it.
Quick tangent
was
on that.
fun.
There was an interview with Kevin Feige where he says it's pretty much going to be inevitable that there's going to be a Spider-Man Venom meeting. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. We would have a really awesome soundtrack to that.
Yeah.
Don't you think? If we throw in Eminem in there a little bit more. And ooh.
I
I dig it. Yes.
But I was so sad about that news because there is nothing about those two worlds that I want to see intermix. And I feel like Venom is his origin is such an extension of the Spider-Man universe. To already have this film that establishes his whole origin completely separate of anything they have to do with Spider-Man, then having them meet, I don't know. I just don't. I feel just zero interest in seeing this film.
Don't you think that Marvel could pull it off?
But I don't think it's gonna be a Sony decision. Marvel's gonna be a very passive one on this one. I don't know how passive because Tom Holland's involved in this.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, the rights lay with Sony. I mean, Marvel just gets the distribution of it, and they get say with Tom Holland as a solo entity. If you start mixing him together with the rest of the Sony Spider-Verse they're trying to build, I don't know how much of a say they get with all that.
Well, chat agrees with you a little bit. Patrick Glanville says Venom was horrible, and Jenna James says agreed, Frank. And then rewinding back to Avengers, Neela J said the extras in Endgame does not make me want to go see it again. LOL.
Because it's, for what I read about the Professor Hulk scene, it's unrendered, so you get to hear Mark Ruffalo's voice, but it's like his lips don't move or anything like that. So it's just like, all right. It's almost like a nice.
I think that'd be fun on the Blu-ray or watching it later. I don't. That's. No, that seems like no. That's like seeing a test screening where they're not fully done either.
I would almost think like finish the money just for the one you're going to put in the theater.
Yeah.
At least finish that one off. Why do I want to go to the theater to watch just a rough scene?
I mean, how many times can you see like bonus features on a large screen, like in theaters?
True.
Great.
But I'm okay.
And you got to wait 3 hours to get to it.
Yeah, but you experience all the emotions all over again and more.
All right.
I love you, Marvel.
I'll just wait till, I think it's July 30th. It's going to come out for Blu-ray. So get ready.
And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, on Netflix. So you guys can just get your dose of Spidey.
There you go. Continuing with the international numbers here, Annabelle Comes Home scared up another $45 million from 63 markets, including being number one in 22 of those markets. So basically, globally, it is at $76.2 million. And yesterday, opened up in 30 overseas markets this week, grossing 7.7 for a global total of $24.7 million. Toy Story 4 added 80.6 from overseas for a 259.6 total globally. And look at that. And also we got another addition of $568.3 million overseas now is the total for Aladdin globally at $874.4 million.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was surprised that it's still number 4 at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's doing well.
Kind of a fun summer movie vibe, though.
I guess so. I didn't... Of all the films that have come and gone, like Godzilla and all that, all those kind of fell by the wayside, but Aladdin's been holding around.
Yeah.
Much longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, it has that uplifting, like, not too heavy or depressing. And sometimes, like, that's the movie you want. You don't want something, like, too strenuous or whatever. Like, it's not a deep thought kind of movie, per se. But, that doesn't mean it's any less of a quality film. Just a different mood of what you'd want to go see.
Right. Good.
Well, I think also, like, it's cool because I was kind of planning on not seeing it because it had been so much time since I, didn't see it. It came out at the end of May, and I saw it maybe, almost a month later. But the fact that it's still there, holding on, speaks to how good it is and just, like, how... I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we tend to watch new movies in theaters within the first 2 weeks. We don't really watch new ones after, it's been out for 3 weeks because then we moved on to the next one. But other moviegoers might. So it's nice. Period. That's it.
Thank you, Ami.
Oh, my God.
Speaking as a film that I guess I didn't enjoy it as much as I had hoped to, but we have John Wick Chapter 3. It is now shot past $300 million worldwide. Woo. So, but it's also kind of fallen out of the top 5.
Yeah, that one came out after Aladdin? No.
No, the week before.
Oh.
You know, but I'd rather watch John Wick than Secret Life of Pets 2, for sure.
But also, John Wick is not quite family friendly. So,
What
as
do you
in
mean?
Depends
TV
on
show.
the family you're in.
It's Keanu Reeves. He's family friendly.
But before we get on to the rest of the show here, hot trailer news. Let's take a quick second for this to talk about that. The Hobbs and Shaw trailer number 3 dropped.
There's a third
There's
trailer.
a third
Oh, I didn't
trailer.
watch the third one.
Holy cow, there's a third trailer, folks.
And
I am still jazzed to see this movie.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, it shows you a few more cool sequences in there.
nice.
Idris Elba, and he's also got this cool motorcycle that is just like, it almost seems like a smart motorcycle. So I'm jazzed to see what this is all going to be about. I'm really pumped for this film. And I'm hoping it does not let me
By
down.
the way, people in the chat are saying you're cheating them out of Midsummer.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
that trailer has me so freaking pumped.
I did watch that trailer.
And
It's
No.
I don't know. It all depends on if you like that style or genre of horror where it's just all this like that kind of like folk horror where you're in
That's
kind of
really
like an isolated society and then you just find out the horrors that happen within that. So if that's kind of your jam, then I think you probably would like this.
my jam is good movies, and that looks like a good movie. But also the music, the score is beautiful. It's hauntingly beautiful. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for Ready or Not. There's a
Yes,
bride.
I saw a little bit. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
We talked about last week. Have you seen the trailer for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
I have not.
Oh,
That one looks good.
I finally
I'm
saw
excited.
part of that.
And also shouting out to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark documentary because it's a book, and then they made a movie, a documentary about the book because the book people tried to get it banned because the artwork and stuff was too scary, air quotes, for like kids. Some of the people felt.
Oh, interesting.
But they're folk tales and they're folk horror stories, and it's not like third grade reading, but like middle school or high school, sure. And the artwork is what sticks with you. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And the trailer for the regular movie of it looks really good.
But how are you going to see that artwork if it's in the dark?
They made the characters look like the characters from the book come to life.
Oh, okay.
They're lit
Okay.
in a really specific way. It's in the dark lighting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Glow in the
All right.
dark.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I understand. I get it now. So, folks, we talked about Spider-Man Far From Home coming out this weekend at theaters. Coming out Tuesday, as a matter of fact. I am thoroughly pumped for this.
Yes.
So I thought we'd take a second here, or even more than a second, but we're going to power rank all the Spider-Man films that have come out. We will exclude Captain America Civil War because that just has an extended cameo from Spider-Man in there. We want to just focus on the Spider-Man specific films. So, of course, from the original iteration, we've got the 3 Tobey Maguire films, 1, 2, and 3. We've got the Andrew Garfield version of The Amazing Spider-Man, 1 and 2. Then we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Homecoming. There you go. So, we're all going to take our chance to kind of power rank these films. It's power ranking time.
It's like all of them.
All of those films, how would you rank them? What order would you put them in? From
Okay.
best to worst.
Okay. Okay, I'll go first.
All right, Amy.
Spider-Man. Oh, should I? Okay, I'm gonna start with you said best to worst. So
We can do-
number.
we'll do worst to best.
Wait,
That makes
1,
sense.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
There you go.
In 7th place, Spider-Man 3. In 6th place, Spider-Man 2. In 5th place, Spider-Man, the first one. What was that? That was.
For people listening, Frank
don't
is getting a face.
like
giving face.
Tobey Maguire
Holy
as
cow.
Peter Parker. He's great in Seabiscuit, but I do not like him as Peter Parker.
All right.
Okay.
Before you finish with the rest of the list, I need to know why. What is it about Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker that bugs you?
He's so. When I think of Peter, I think of like someone sweet, dorky, awkward, just trying to do his best.
Tobey Maguire's not that.
No, I think
Okay.
of him like cringy.
Really?
Yes, and it hurts my soul to say that. He's great in Seabiscuit.
Okay.
That is my
He's
go-to.
been in other movies besides Seabiscuit.
But he is great in
Cider House
Seabiscuit.
rules.
I haven't seen that
Cider House
one.
rules, go watch it.
I've also seen him in The Great Gatsby, but he's great in Seabiscuit. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was
I
it too
just-
old? Was he creepy? I mean,
Not
like,
creep, just like weird. and not in the fun, like, awkward way, like Tom Holland or even Andrew Garfield.
Not as charming.
Charming, yeah, charismatic, where you're rooting for him. Andrew Garfield was old, but at least you're like, okay, sure. He was a little too cool for Peter, to be playing Peter. But Tobey Maguire, just like, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so 7, 6, 5, 4 Amazing Spider-Man, 2, 3 Amazing Spider-Man, 1. And in second place, Spider-Man Homecoming. And in first place, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh, all right. Interesting list. I feel like you're grading solely on your on the portrayals of Peter Parker as opposed to the quality of the stories there.
No.
Jenna James in the chat says, I don't get the hate, to be quite honest.
That's all right. 99% of people don't. And it's no hate. It's, I don't like it.
But you love him in Seabiscuit.
He is fantastic.
Oh, well, they're saying you're doing it as in, like, that's part of the group. Jenna James, I like both Toby and Andrew, and I like Holland too, but the hate for the OG seems like, let's just hate them because that's what the whole class is doing.
The whole class is not hating. Because you guys aren't. And I'm not hating. I don't
But you're not
like
alone.
it.
Neil Hutchinson chat says, I'm with you, Amy. I don't like him as Spidey.
Yeah.
Right.
There's certain Spideys that we just, like, resonate with.
Sure.
And Toby is not mine.
Okay. Carrie?
I feel semi-sad to say that even though being a Spider-Man fan, I have not seen the Andrew Garfield ones. We're on a first name basis. So I just
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I'm like, that 7 is down to 5.
All right.
I would say Spider-Man 3 is... I can't remember between 1 or 2. Which one does he get all emo and does the little dance?
That was 3.
Okay. Spider-Man 3, because that was just like, whoa, what?
With the eyeliner. That was fantastic.
Hey, guy liner can be awesome.
Yeah, if worn
that one,
on the
no.
right person.
So I'd say that 3 for 5. Then Spider-Man 2 for 4. Into the Spider-Verse for 3. Homecoming 2. And Spider-Man, the original, number 1. If only because that was the first, and it was such a big deal. Everybody listening, Amy is making such a face right now. Because it's one of those... Context matters in terms of, like, when we spoke about X-Men. When it came out, X-Men was like the first superhero movie, like, ever at that point, is what it felt like. There were no others. There weren't this plethora like there is now. So when the Spider-Man movie came out, it was such a big deal being the first one. And so it was so exciting as a fan. Though I was super nerdy when it came out too, because he had the webbing in his arm, and I'm like, that's not right. That's like Spider-Man 2099, which I love that one though too. And I'm like, but that's okay. I'm still so excited about it. So that's why I put that one, if only because that started it. Because without that, there might not have been the other ones.
I don't think so, but I love that we're ranking them based off of different, like, criteria. Like, for you,
Sure.
It's like what it represented at the time and, like, how they made you feel. For me, it's solely on how they made me feel when I left the theater.
I feel like it's solely, as long as you don't have Tobey Maguire in it, you're going to make a Spider-Man movie and you will like.
I feel I need to redo this again when I see Andrew Garfield. I feel now, in retrospect, Tom Holland is the better Peter Parker.
Oh, for sure.
He is what... Like, I was definitely apprehensive at first. I go, I don't know. But then watching him, I'm like, yes, he is that dorky. He's adorkable. You're like, you're dorky and you're adorable. And he just has that sweetness to him that you're like, yes. Is he the better Spider-Man? Then maybe you could go, maybe Toby is better Spider-Man and Tom is better Peter Parker. But,
Interesting.
Yeah. What about you, Frank?
Just to see the look on Amy's face. Folks, if you're watching this at all, if you have access to see this, just go back to
if
see
you're
Carrie doing
listening,
a list.
please go back.
Amy's mouth dropping.
And your face when she did hers, too.
I support your decisions because you're yours. And we're not hating.
No.
Unless
It's
you're
okay.
Tobey Maguire,
great
in which case Amy is hating.
Tobey Maguire's fantastic. I love Tobey.
So many other great films.
I have not
Pleasantville?
seen that.
Yeah.
Pleasantville, thank you. He's great in Pleasantville. I love him in Pleasantville.
Okay.
And
Frank.
Seabiscuit.
Shutting down that, yes.
For me, I'll go Spider-Man 3. That is, again, it shows my bias towards Venom because I really don't like that. And figuring that it
Fair.
was Avi Arad said, like, you know what, the kids like Venom. Sam, you got to put Venom in this movie.
I like that voice.
Yes.
Do it again.
You gotta put the kids like the Venom because he's a creepy crawly alien symbiote. You gotta put him in the movie. So it was too many villains in that one. So that goes down to number 3. I'll put Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the bottom of that. There's some things that I like about the film. I feel like the costume was better updated, the action was better, but there was just it was too depressing in terms of death after death. You had in the first Amazing Spider-Man film, you had Officer Stacy. You had he gets killed, and then Gwen in the second one. It's just, and then there's too much conspiracy stuff with the parents.
Okay.
I just didn't need that stuff in the Spider-Man mythology, and I feel like that film just steeped itself too much in that.
Okay.
So I'll put Amazing Spider-Man 2 in there. I will put.
So now you're at top 5.
Yeah, my top 5. I'm gonna go Amazing Spider-Man 1 after that. It's barely better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's just I enjoy Andrew Garfield, but I just didn't like Mark Webb's decisions to do different things with Spider-Man's or I should say Peter Parker's mythology.
Yeah.
Getting too heavily involved in the parents and stuff. Plus, I didn't like everything had to originate from the Spider-Man kind of DNA, and everything came from Oscorp. It was too much. You don't need everything interconnected here. I'll do Spider-Man 2 after that.
Okay.
That is, I feel like when you see that film, that is, actually no, I'll do Spider-Man 1, then Spider-Man 2, then Spider-Man into the Spider-Man Homecoming, and then Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse is going to be number 1 for me.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 is great for the reasons that you were saying, but I felt like Spider-Man, because I hated the Green Goblin costume. That
Fair.
just, no matter how much that killed
Willem
me.
Dafoe did well.
He did well, but that costume did
costume.
him no
I was
service.
okay.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I was
did
okay
a
with
look
that.
up online on Screen Rant. Do you want to know what they ranked him as?
Sure.
let's see.
All right, let's see how close you guys are to what they think. So they said number 7 is Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
Good choice.
So
That was actually on TV
That's
today.
what I said.
I think that's what you all said.
Yeah. Pretty
They
much.
said The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 6,
Nice.
followed by Amazing Spider-Man at 5.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Okay, sorry, just going down here a little bit.
Look at this. You guys, you don't know this, but I wrote this article.
Okay.
You should. Could be.
All right, and then Spider-Man at
4.
4.
Okay.
And, sorry, it's a long article here.
Oh, baby. This
3
is.
is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
2 would be on the next page.
Oh, of course.
They're making me work for them.
Jenna, well, while you're looking there,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is 2.
What the
Okay.
heck is 1?
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, interesting.
You know, there's a
Jenna
lot-
Drames in the chat agrees with you, Frank. And
Thank you, Jenna.
Yep.
You have great taste. You know, Spider-Man 2 is great because it reflects about the things that were frustrating about Spider-Man 1. And
It's been a while that I feel I'd almost have to rewatch, but it's just how I remember.
it is a film that I think it ages a little poorly.
Yeah.
It just there's some of the special effects that are still fun to watch, and the story with Otto Octavius is great
Yeah.
in there. You know, it's just some of the little Sam
so
Raimi
creepy.
eccentricities can
Yeah.
be a little much in there. So I felt like Spider-Man Homecoming was finally the Peter Parker that I was excited about seeing. I thought he did a fantastic job of taking a character that had already been seen twice in iterations
Yeah.
on film and reinterpreting it for a modern audience and freshening up Peter Parker's origin.
Yeah.
You
Where-
see the new one, kind of overtaking any of your top 3s?
Maybe.
For sure.
I would love for it to. I don't think it'll take. I feel like Into the Spider-Verse was such a just like we're gonna take everything you ever loved about comic books and put it all into one film. So I feel like that was such an
Yeah.
embracing of the mythology and the format and the style that I can't see that one. I can't see Spider-Man Far From Home taking number 1. I could see it taking number 2 though, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, Homecoming was so good. So good. So,
was.
I mean, it could be my
So
third
we'll
place
see.
then.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the smartest decisions was just making Aunt May Marissa Tomei because it's just show like we don't
Yeah.
need to have the old.
We've seen it already.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and certainly we had Sally Fields as Aunt May in the Amazing Spider-Man films. So a little still younger, but it's still that, I'm almost dying, Peter. Help me. So
It was nice to have a hip, young
Wow.
teammate, almost a fellow teammate.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I've said it here before. I've said it here many times that Spider-Man, for me, at least works better when Aunt May's in on it. And we saw a little bit
Yeah,
of that
it's
in
nice.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what it does in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
So that was our power rankings, folks.
Foes.
I'm going to learn how to speak there. I lost that ability to speak while I was gone.
You're so many characters right now
That's right.
that it's hard to just be
Juggling in my
yourself.
man. There's so many.
It's all the Spider-Verse.
So
the
yes,
verses.
you've been doing it already in the comments, but feel free to keep sharing your thoughts about the power rankings. Do you agree with any of ours? Do you have your own? We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So, folks, we got to do our box office bet, but before we do that, we got to do next week's top 5.
Yeah.
We're entering Spider-Man Far From Home there, 4,350 screens.
Number 1.
I guess it's going to be tough, but I think it might be able to make it.
Yeah, if they try hard enough with the marketing.
Do we see any of it? Do we see basically this list just dropping down?
But do you feel that Midsommar would get in there?
That's not next week.
Well, it's.
Is it?
It's,
No. It's not yet.
Next Friday, I believe it goes wide.
Okay, then
I don't
why?
know.
Oh, limited maybe.
Yes.
July 3rd.
See, that's why we weren't including it. The chat was like, why aren't you including it?
Yeah.
I don't know if this coming week.
What?
I am so excited.
What?
No, I just wasn't prepared for it emotionally.
Wait, is it this week?
July 3rd.
Midsommar?
Yeah.
So see, never mind, just kidding.
All right.
But yeah, I mean,
See, now you made me feel like it's next week.
It says nationwide, but it doesn't say theaters.
Yes, I have no idea the theater count. I mean, we can
don't
feel
know.
free to throw that in if you think Midsommar is going to make the top 5 as well. We'll toss that in.
Spider-Man will definitely be number 1. Mm-hmm. What's number 5 right now?
Number 5 is Secret Life of Pets 2.
Bye.
Maybe Midsommar would make number 5.
All right.
I'm going to say it's going to make 4th place. And so then Aladdin will squeeze into the 5th spot.
All right. You know, I'll go with you on that one, Amy.
Cool. That's
All
a
right.
great idea.
Thanks. I'm just going to ride your coattails.
Okay.
So, folks, we've got our box office bet, though, and we are going to do this. Despite the release of Midsommar, we're doing it Spider-Man Far From Home. We're calling it Audible. We're doing this. 4,350 screens there. What do you think Spider-Man's going to make? And, of course, folks, the box office bet, if you've never seen it before, we're all going to bet on what we think the opening box office total of the film in choice, in this case, Spider-Man Far From Home, will make. The winner gets to bask in the glory of being the prognosticator or prognosticators, like Kari Lane. And the loser will have to go see this film and tell us all about it, which Ami Cassandra already did.
What the Homecoming made?
Opening weekend 117.
There you go. For Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah.
Look at
So
that.
do we think the riding the wave coattails of
Endgame.
I think that will
that help?
I think that will help.
Oh, you guys.
Ken Jack says 120. Also 4th of July weekend, so we have people on holiday.
Families
stuff,
getting
family.
together to celebrate the awesomeness that is Peter Parker.
There you go.
I feel that can make a big difference. So 117?
All right. Let me type in my number here. Okay. All right, Bree, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, kick us off, please.
I'm going to go 123.
Oh, very nice. All right, 123 for Bree. Ami?
Frank. 125.
All right.
hey.
Nice. Carrie?
135.
135. All right. Well, I swung for the fences and went 145.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There you go. Or, trying to go to those multiples of 10, but Bree threw off our plan. That's fine. All right,
That's
folks.
what I'm here to do.
All right, so folks, we've got a few minutes left on the show, so we're going to do a little bit of spoiler-filled talk. Yes,
Right before you do that, want to mention it because this weekend coming up, so today's Sunday, next weekend, 4th of July weekend is Anime Expo. Tune in for that because I'll be there as long as the AfterBuzz Anime crew, and then also I'll be one of the live stream hosts, so you're going to want to tune in for that. And I want to tell you about a movie that came out that will be there. It's Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Arrow of Orion. So it's a show called Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? The movie is really cool. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the show. And if you've never watched the show, I do like that you could take people and they won't be totally lost about what's going on. I've only seen a little bit of the show, so I was curious, like, how lost would you be? But nope. The basic characters, kind of, you get the gist of who they are. There's a kind of quest to be solved. If you like mythology, it's really cool. There's different... the basic story of the world is the gods from the heavens of all different cultures have come down and live among humans now, and people go on... It's like fantasy. They go on dungeon quests and destroy monsters and get points. essentially like jewels and gems and things. So it's a very fun movie. I'd recommend it. And so that's going to be at Anime Expo, and I got to see advanced screening of it, so wanted to recommend it.
No, all right. So, folks, we're going to do some spoiler-filled talk about yesterday, Annabelle Comes Home, maybe something else here. But we're going to do our little sign-out right now, so if you want to duck out right now, feel free to do so. As always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you can do. And Kari, if they're watching after we stream live, what can they do?
Yes, comment down below. Rank your favorite Spider-Man movies. Let us know.
And if you want to stay in touch with any of us, Bree, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Bree, BRI_Phipps, PHIPPS.
The next is me.
Way to go, Ami.
You guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ, including Geek Bomb. I just always
Nailed
forget to
it.
mention. Thank you, Geek
I was
Bomb.
like, I was getting ready to say it, but yeah, I was like, yeah. And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And make sure to follow me because all the excitement from Anime Expo as well as ABTV Anime, because we'll be posting stuff on there as well.
Oh, sweet. And follow me on the Twittergrams at HappyGoJackie. All right, folks, we're getting into some spoiler-filled talk here in our last minute or so.
Spoiler alert!
All right.
Spoiler alert!
Woohoo!
Spoiler alert!
Amy, you loved yesterday.
I did.
I love the premise, and I felt like the idea of a world where things kind of dropped out was intriguing, but I felt like when you introduce that premise that it's not just, because the trailer makes you think it's just the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then you find out little bits, it's a little comedy
it's
hit.
other?
It's little bits that they'll come back to as little bit, like little bits.
Coke is not existent anymore, but Pepsi still is, and like
Yeah.
Oasis doesn't exist, and
Cigarettes.
Harry Potter, we find out
The
at the very
fact
end,
that
does
Harry
not exist.
Potter didn't exist hurt my soul. Everything else, I mean, Coke, come on, obviously better than Pepsi, but
But when
still.
you introduce this concept, I get excited. I want to know more about this world, and I felt like,
You're like
just
exactly what isn't.
yes.
Yeah. Well,
But do they say that's because the Beatles never existed?
They never explain.
Oh,
anything.
Basically, there was a big blackout in the entire world for 12 seconds, and then when he and a couple other people can remember things, and the rest of the world can't.
Because see, that would be interesting if you did the It's a Wonderful Life. If you took out this big cosmic, like affected the world something, and how it ripples, that would be really interesting. But no, it's not that. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not that.
they don't
All right,
ever
continue.
explain why certain things
Okay.
are gone.
Because I felt like if you take the Beatles out of 60s music, they influenced so many other musicians
Yep.
after them that I don't think the music scene that we see in 2019 would be the same.
yeah, I feel like they kind of touched on that though, because the two people, they're like, thank you so much for bringing the Beatles back. Like, the world without the Beatles is not a good one, something like that. So it's like, besides Ed Sheeran, we don't really know like who else is still. I think there was Aerosmith or someone else.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, yeah. But other than that, like, we don't know who else is there and who else is not. This is a major spoiler. Don't know if you want to. Okay. John Lennon.
Yeah, I mean, it was intriguing.
Oh my God, that hit hard. I heard this girl kind of scream because it's certainly shocking. But then it's the idea of like, wow, like the Beatles brought so much, but they also lost so much, like that was a whole nother level I was not expecting to see. Kate McKinnon was amazing, but I agree with you. I feel like they had a great idea. I think the execution was a little like, okay. And it felt a little bit like they knew what they were doing, and then it kind of dragged, and you're like, what's going on? And then the whole idea with, what's her name? Whatever, Lily James.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't want her to be with him because he kind of
That's
just...
the worst part for me.
Yeah. And then like the fact that she wasn't so great either, because then she was like, you kind of have to decide if you really love someone, you're going to support them with
She also
huge
was pushing him
decisions like
into
that.
this like career for like years and years and years, and like not letting him stop, and then he gets success, and she's like, well, you never chose me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I'm like, can we just... I don't know. She should have just been with Gavin. Let's be real.
But I don't know, like, and Brie, I don't know how you felt about this, but like Kate McKinnon,
Yeah.
I enjoy her as a performer,
Yeah.
but I felt like this one, she was just like so over the top caricature.
It felt like they took her SNL character and was like, do that here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I feel like that's sometimes what happens if you're an SNL alum or a person that, still
But I
does
would have
that.
loved to see just even a little shade of just, humanity in there. It just feels
Or-
like it was just, she was just so
Character.
over.
Character arc would be nice.
Yeah.
But I guess they weren't focused on her.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I am not a big music fan. So, and I know, Brie, you love musicals and all that stuff. So, the Beatles, if you were to introduce those songs today, would they have the same impact that they had back in the 60s?
I think they could, but I think that, and like what they kind of started doing towards the end of the film made more sense when they kind of updated the music a little bit, like put a little bit different spins on the styles of the instruments and the words. I think that makes more sense than just recreating the songs as they were.
Yeah, like when you're doing covers basically on amazing artists that have already done their thing, like you gotta change it up and make it more exciting. And it just felt like he was just doing covers, and there was nothing like super meaningful except for help me when he's literally saying help me.
Yeah.
And she's looking at him, and like that was powerful. Everything else I was like, yeah. And then they touch on it because then he's like, I have to go to Strawberry Fields, I have to go to Liverpool. It's like, but like what are these songs about? Like that's so like
it also kind of was like, you're a huge music person, you love the Beatles, you're an artist yourself, and you can't tell me what this song means or what it's about.
Yeah. I like the Eleanor Rigby part where he's trying to remember the lyrics, and we see Eleanor Rigby, like the bride, like all of that. And it's like, no, scratch that. Like, I like that. That was fun.
The way they interpreted that was cool. And it does come up with the idea, like, sure, if the Beatles disappeared, but you still remember them, how easy would it be for you to recall the lyrics? And they show that it's like, it's not that easy to remember all the lyrics to all these songs. And I did like that.
Yeah.
He had to earn it a little bit.
Yeah. What it certainly did is just, I don't know, like remind you just how powerful every single musician out there is. Even the like musicians that not everyone knows about. At the end, he is singing these songs, these Beatles songs to these kids. So as long as that music gets filtered in some way, that's all that matters.
Last question, Bree. They have a scene in the film where Ed Sheeran challenges the character to a songwriting contest. They're each going to write a song real quick, 10 minutes.
Yes.
And our hero recycles a Beatles song.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran writes his own original one. Listening to those two songs, which one did you like better?
I mean, I'm a huge Beatles fan, so I always tend towards the Beatles, but if I were to go, obviously the Ed Sheeran one was something really creative that he made up in 5 minutes, whereas the other guy just had to think of a song that he already knew.
Yeah.
The Long and Winding Road. That's all I
love
did.
The Long and Winding Road. I think it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Ed Sheeran in that moment because he's just like, well, I guess I'm not Mozart. I should just, give it up.
He did so well. It was just Ed Sheeran.
All right, folks, we got to wrap it up here. But yesterday, it's from Amy. You say go see it in theaters.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel you can wait till
Go
you come
see it
home.
at home, and you can sing the Beatles songs out loud.
That's true.
Who says that I wasn't singing them out loud in the theater?
Oh, you're that person. Great.
All right.
I'm always that person. Yes.
All right, folks, we're going to be back here next week, except for Kari Lane. Check her out on all the live action happening at Anime Expo. But we'll be back here next Sunday to talk about how awesome Spider-Man Far From Home is. Until then, go see some movies, folks.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.